All right, Brad, thanks very much, and we welcome you to ESPN College Basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy. Two of the top teams in the Atlantic 10 underway here at the Cintas Center in Cincinnati. It's the home court of the Xavier Musketeers. They and the Temple Owls last year shared the Atlantic 10 regular season title, and they're both towards the top of the A10 standings again this year. I'm Bob Wischusen alongside LaFonso Ellis. Kenny Freeze can't bank it home. Michael Eric the rebound. And this is going to be a war.
It really is. I mean, two excellent defensive teams do a really good job with positioning, and they're great in their defensive schemes as well.
Foul called underneath. That'll go against Michael Eric. Ramon Moore and Tu Holloway, two terrific guards today in our Star Watch.
Ramon Moore likes to get it done off the dribble, but he also has range, explosive in transition. Tu Holloway, the guy that you want to get the basketball in his hands, deep range, and can take you off the bounds.
Holloway made the game's first basket. A three, but then throws it away here to Fernandez. Too strong off the backboard as he felt the presence of Jamel McLean. And then a foul call.
In transition, Juan Fernandez, you can tell he's not quite healthy. You can see him actually hobbling a little bit down the floor, and it's really affected his confidence here early. Last year when he's healthy, that's a bucket in transition.
Well, boy, Allen called for the foul, his first. Freeze with the jump hook. That comes up short again.
Xavier will continue to throw it to him down in the box because of his size at 7 feet 265. He's a beast down in the box. Look for a lot of motion here from Temple. They're really good at back cutting you when you're not looking.
Well, boy, Allen comes up way short. Here's the hit ahead to Lyons. Throws it down off the feed from Holloway. Xavier is 61-3 in their last 64 home games. 72-10 all-time in this building against Atlantic 10 competition. And it's not hard to see why once you're in here. This can be a cauldron for opponents. And that time Fernandez turns it over. A bullet pass that Michael Eric couldn't handle.
If you take a bad shot or turn it over, this Xavier team is terrific at finding and finishing in transition. Tell you early, Bob, this pace, this tempo really favors Xavier. Temple wants to play more of a half-court, deliberate style. If they continue to turn it over, take quick shots, it'll favor Xavier.
Jeff Robinson just came on for the Muskies. There he is. Rejected, though, by Allen underneath. And we reach our first TV timeout. Off to a good start. A hot start for Xavier. They hit ahead from Tu Holloway to Mark Lyons. A little showtime here at the Cintas Center. Oh, it's always low-cal here in Cincinnati. Nothing better than Skyline Chili and nothing better than ESPN College Basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy. Back here at the Cintas Center in Cincinnati. Bob Wischusen and LaFonso Ellis bringing you an Atlantic 10 matchup between two teams, LaFonso, that I would not be surprised, I'm sure you the same, if these are the two that are battling it out at the end of the regular season and maybe even the championship game in the A10 tournament. Duquesne is certainly up there. Dayton is always a challenge. Richmond, another very solid team this year, but it always seems that Frna Dunphy's team and Chris Mack's team are very heavily involved in the conference title race.
It's really because of the way that they defend. They don't do anything tricky offensively. They put their hat, hang their hat on their defense, and they're so good on the help side.
Xavier has held 11 of 17 opponents this year under 70 points. Temple's the #1 defensive team so far this year in the Atlantic 10. They are holding their opponents on average under 60 points a game. Shot clock down to 3. Lyons, wide open 3, and he knocks it down. Boy, that's a tough look to give up with the shot clock down under 3.
The pick and roll action and lack of recognition of who's rolling with the guard popping out to the corner was how he's able to get free.
Fernandez sets up Randall. He's got another. That's the second three for Scootie Randall.
Juan Fernandez's ability to split that little double team on the little pick and roll action created that opening for Scootie to get that shot off.
McLean, one-on-one in the post and muscles it up over the top of LaVoy Allen.
Really not easily done. LaVoy Allen may be the best position low post defender in the entire A-10.
Now back the other way, LaVoy Allen against McLean. That's too strong. Bounces out, though, to a wide-open look for Scootie Randall, and Randall has all 8 Temple points. McLean, tough catch in transition, and the layup goes.
It's a premium on the bigs for Temple to get back in transition. Shot goes up. You have to make sure you have 2 guards at least back to stop that basketball.
LaVoy Allen comes up way short. Here comes Holloway. Ahead of the pack with the crossover and the finger roll. You mentioned that Fernandez is not himself. He actually came back after missing a couple of games for their last game against Penn with a bone bruise on his left knee, and Juan Fernandez just couldn't keep up with Holloway there, as Xavier is doubling up Temple early on. Welcome back to college basketball, presented by 5 Hour Energy here on ESPN. 16-8. Xavier has the lead over Temple, and transition defense already, LaFonzo's been a problem for the Owls.
It really has, and you hit on it. Juan Fernandez is not quite himself. His ability to exchange both ends of the floor, moving slowly, and that puts a lot of pressure on their transition defense.
Foul called on Jeff Robinson underneath. Now, the last game in the A-10 that Temple played was against Duquesne, and Duquesne is now in first place along with Xavier in the Atlantic 10, both at 4-0. But Temple lurking at 3-1, and Frna Dunphy talking to him yesterday. He sensed that his team was on a little bit of a roller coaster in terms of performance right now.
Yes, they're just trying to find their identity. Defensively is where they hang their hats. Excellent move by Scootie Randall. Pump fake, getting him to leave his feet, a little lean in the contact.
Richmond, last year they were in the mix. They're in the mix again this year. Of course, URI and George Washington, UMass, and also not pictured there, Dayton lurking in the middle of the pack. But Xavier and Temple, I mean, these are two teams that over the past decade or so have either won or shared the Atlantic 10 title 8 times. So last year they were tied for first when the season came to an end as well. And if Frna Dunphy could get Juan Fernandez healthy and can keep the rest of the group around him performing at a high level, I think they should be right back there as now Holloway turns it over. Khalif Wyatt takes the bump, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Second foul number 32, that's Kenny Freeze.
Frna Dunphy in his 5th season at Temple. Now, he is a career Big Five guy, if there ever was a career Big Five guy. The head coach not only now at Temple, but also 17 years at Penn. On top of that, he was an assistant at LaSalle for 4 years. He got his master's at Villanova. If he could just go spend a day, I asked him yesterday, wouldn't you think maybe just one day go over and park a couple of cars at St. Joe's just to say you worked there too for a few hours and touch them all? He said, no, I spent plenty of time with Phil Martelli. I'm good.
So generous with his time with us yesterday. So grateful for all the wisdom, little things he shared with us yesterday about his team.
Holloway, they go under the ball screen again, and that time he comes up short on the 3. For the tie, it's Wyatt. He's got it. How about the fight back from the Owls to knot it at 16, an 8-0 run.
He gives them a big spark off the bench. He had 27 points off the bench in their win against Penn on Wednesday.
Lions, strong move through the lane.
And that basketball's coming across the court in the lane. You have to make sure you have some weak side help. No one available, and that's how he ended up with that easy bucket.
That goes over the top of the backboard, off the carom. Fernandez tried to find Ramon Moore on a cut. ESPN, the home court of college hoops. Action continues tonight. A duel in the SEC East. Star freshmen Terrence Jones and Brandon Knight lead the 12th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats up against South Carolina. College basketball on ESPN tonight at 6 Eastern. That game also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. Penetrates, got shut down in the lane though. Earlier Jefferson held his ground.
Excellent reaction on the weak side with help in the middle. Tell you, I'd look to try to get that basketball in Scootie Randall's hands off dribble penetration. 4 for 4 so far in this game from the floor.
Randall tries another. That's off the mark. First miss for Scootie Randall. And Dave Jackson knocks down a three. He really's been struggling so far this year. He was 40% from three last year, only 29% this year. But Chris Mack said if he could have just one of those games where he makes 4 or 5, 4 or 6, we feel like we could get him going the rest of the year.
And the beauty of it, his missing shots hasn't taken away from his defensive focus. Coach said he's been really locked in and focused defensively.
Randall, little pick and roll. Jefferson finds Eric. He's too strong. The reverse on the putback won't go again. Holloway leaves for McLean. He misses the layup and then commits the foul. Both teams getting good looks midway through the first half. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll continue what has been a duel so far between Temple and Xavier here at the Cintas Center and explain why the Speaker of the House is taking in this afternoon's game as well.
To address their business teams.
5-point lead for Xavier over Temple. College basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy here on ESPN. And the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives on hand today. A special presentation. John Boehner was a 1977 graduate of Xavier with a degree in business administration. Born and raised here in Cincinnati. One of 12 children. Went to Moeller High School. Played football there. Still resides in the greater Cincinnati area. And a huge round of applause from the Muskie faithful for one of their own that has risen to one of the highest positions in our government. Now, Frna Dunphy would like his team to rise up defensively. He was not happy, especially with the lack of a finish from Michael Eric at the offensive end as Chris Mack's team got out in transition. But Coach Dunphy yesterday at the shoot-around seemed to be in the face of his bigs over and over again. Guys, we have to finish inside against this team.
Well, when you're playing against a team where your margin of error is very narrow, those easy shots inside can come back to haunt you, particularly on the road. But the story so far is Ramon Moore averages 17 points for Temple in the A-10. He has 0 shot attempts so far in this game.
There's a finish inside, though, a backdoor cut from T.J. DeLeo.
It's really a smart player. If you turn your back, as you're defending him, he always cuts to the basket. That's a nice find.
Moving screen. That's going to go against Jeff Robinson.
I tell you what, Bob, I mean, you're down 3 on the road. Your leading scorer at 17 points a game, and Ramon Moore hasn't even gotten a shot attempt. Coach Dunphy disappointed with the bigs not finishing inside, but he's got to be happy with this team not shooting the basketball well without his leading scorer getting shots.
That foul on Jeff Robinson was his second. And there's Realier Jefferson. That time he finished over the top of Kenny Freeze.
He gives them a lot of energy and effort when he comes off the bench.
Holloway, step back 2. Can't get the roll. McLean, though, on the offensive glass, fouled by LaVoy Allen.
That looks like his second.
So Lavoy Allen picks up his second foul.
And that's one thing that they can't afford. They're not very deep across their front court. One of the points of emphasis was to keep him playing good defense, but to keep him out of foul trouble.
Jamel McLean, third best in the A-10 in rebounding at 9 a game. Second best in field goal percentage at 57%. But his numbers are down just a touch after he fractured the orbital bone around his eye back in an exhibition game at the start of the season. He was supposed to be out between 3 and 6 weeks, but he came back after only 2 weeks. You can see he's got the goggles. And so he's a hockey player. He fractured the orbital bone and said, forget a month and a half. Just give me some goggles. I want to go play.
That's right. He's got tremendous potential. He could be a consistent double-double guy. Rebounds the basketball well, but he's got a good touch from 15 feet as well.
Lions for 3. Got it. Xavier is 4 of 5 from 3. And now a popping violation call against the Owls as DeLeo turns it over.
You're guarding a great shooter from the three-point line. You cannot go underneath the screens, especially against Holloway, who's one of the best three-point shooters in the Atlantic 10.
Tough entry passes. Lions threw it up over the top of McLean. Third turnover for Xavier. Wyatt stops for 3. He knocks it down right in the face of Kenny Freeze and makes it a three-point game again.
You have to be aware of personnel on the floor. He's a 40% three-point shooter in the Atlantic 10. You have to know where he is on the floor.
Freeze out of the double team, finds Lyons. That time Michael Eric made sure he grabbed the rebound. Scootie Randall left alone. Officials weren't buying the flop, and Randall knocks down the wide-open 3 as Holloway tried to buy a cheap one. And out the other end, a foul will be called against Khalif Wyatt.
Defensively, you have to keep your position, and they're not going to call it in a hotly contested game like this. Good recognition by Scootie Randall, though, recognizing that he had airspace to be able to get that shot off. Only 1 miss for him this afternoon. 5 of 6 from the floor.
So Scootie Randall and his 14 points take a seat, replaced by Aaron Brown, the freshman from Hackensack, New Jersey. And a pretty small lineup on the floor right now for Temple. Michael Eric surrounded by a lot of perimeter talent. Lyons penetrates, slips one through to McLean, but he traveled.
They do a terrific job after setting that ball screen of running to the rim, and the guards have great vision to be able to find them, but I think he was a little too happy on that one. Skipping around in there. Good call by the baseline official.
Dante Jackson picks the pocket of Jefferson. Finds Lyons. Banks it home. Lions now in double figures.
You said one of the keys to this game was for Temple not to turn the basketball over because of how explosive Xavier is in transition. They convert 80% of their baskets in transition after missed shots and after steals.
Wyatt from the wing. In and out. Tipped out of bounds, though, by Dante Jackson, so it'll stay with Temple when we come back. Ramon Moore still has yet to attempt a field goal, and yet his team is only down by 2 here in Cincinnati. ESPN's the home court of college hoops. They packed Mackey for game day, and they'll pack it again tonight as Purdue hosts Michigan State. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV on ESPN at 9 Eastern tonight. Coverage begins with College Game Day, driven by State Farm at 8 Eastern. This game also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. A big game tonight for Purdue, and then Tuesday they'll be taking on Ohio State, going up against the #1 ranked team in America. So The #1 scorer for Temple is Ramon Moore, but he has been a non-factor, LaFonso Ellis, so far.
He hasn't. I mean, no rebounds, no assists, no steals. Very unusual for him, but he's gotten tremendous bench support. Scootie Randall's gotten off to a great start, 3 of 4 from the three-point line.
Randall's back on. He hands it off to Moore, gets a return. Randall tries another 3, and he's got it. Scootie Randall has 17 of Temple's 29.
Dribble penetration, everyone's ball watching, not aware of where the shooters are on the floor is how Temple was able to get that wide open look by Scootie Randall.
Wide open Andrew Taylor, the backdoor cut. And Jamel McLean, he'd thrown that pass before the ball even got in his hands.
He read it quickly. Miscommunication by 2 Temple defenders created that open look underneath. Terrific find.
Moore goes one-on-one, and he palms the basketball. 5 turnovers now for Temple.
Yeah, Xavier's so good in their ball screen action. A little bit of confusion, miscommunication created a wide open lane. That was a terrific find. You can throw a little hook pass back over the top or pass it to the middleman who has great vision. Good find underneath.
Lions back to McLean. Uses the glass, rolls off, the tip won't go. And eventually Michael Eric with the rebound.
Xavier missed an opportunity for a repost after McLean gave that basketball up. He had deep post position, but missed him.
The back down by Moore. Instead it's to Wyatt. Moore's first field goal attempt. No good. McLean again beating Temple down the floor.
Now McLean, of course, a little faster, but he and Freeze do a terrific job of running right down the center of the floor, and their guards have such great vision, they're able to find them. But that was really good hands by McLean in transition.
Foul called against Xavier. As Dante Jackson reached in on Khalif Wyatt. Juan Fernandez coming back on for Temple. As Wyatt will sit down. Kenny Freeze back in replacing McLean. As Dante Jackson picks up his second foul.
Khalif Wyatt gave them a tremendous boost off the bench. Coming in, getting 8 quick points for them. 2 of 3 from the floor. 2 of 3 from the three-point line as well.
Wyatt exploded against Penn the other night. A Wednesday night win for Temple. He had 27, a career high. He hadn't scored more than 15 in a game so far this year. That's Moore's second field goal attempt, and that one hit the backboard first.
You can tell he's out of rhythm because he hasn't gotten touches. I'd like to see him put it on the floor, try to get an easy one, which will open it up for him from the outside.
Nice bank shot inside by Freeze. Doesn't always look pretty, but Kenny Freeze gets the job done.
Very effective, especially if you let him catch it that close to the low box.
Air ball from Eric. To Holloway. Hand check foul called on Juan Fernandez. Like we said, not always pretty, but effective.
Hey, look at, you let him get feet in the paint, it's lights out. You have to do your work early, Michael Eric. Get in front, force him off the box. You let him catch it that deep, it's lights out.
Now the walk-on, Kevin Feeney, gets a chance for Xavier. He replaces Jeff Robinson. Well, Chris Mack told us earlier today at shoot-around that with Brad Redford out for the year with an ACL, and Jay Canty also shaken up. He's got a stress fracture in his right foot. Holloway, Jackson, and Lyons. Those are the only 3 players they have on scholarship that can play either the 1 or the 2.
And he's giving them a nice lift because he can shoot the basketball as well. So you have to be aware of him. 3-sport athlete in high school. Didn't play a lot of basketball, but you can tell he gets into it defensively. Has a nice shot from the outside.
And if you're Kevin Feeney and you walk on, you never know.
That's right.
All of a sudden, you might be 3 or 4 spots down the depth chart. A couple of injuries. You're a walk-on, you're playing. Fernandez hits a 3.
So sneaky, Bob, and crafty with the basketball. Defense froze for a second, creating that airspace to get the shot off.
Holloway's kick out knocked out of bounds by Aaron Brown, and we'll step aside for just a moment. A 2-point game here at the Cintas Center in Cincinnati. These two teams shared the A-10 title last year. A good battle today. Steve, thanks very much. College basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy continuing here at the Cintas Center in Cincinnati. We've had 3 ties, 2 lead changes. Xavier at one point led 16-8. Temple came back with an 8-point run to tie it at 16, and we basically got back and forth with Alfonso since.
I tell you what, Bob, Temple only shooting the basketball 42% from the floor, but it's 7 of 12 from the 3-point line. They got to be pretty happy about that, especially with their leading scorer, Ramon Moore, having not scored in this game.
Temple came into today as well. Second to last in the Atlantic 10 shooting the 3 as a team at 31%. So they normally don't shoot it from distance that well. Holloway on the end line.
And see, that's why Temple, year after year after year, is always in position to be able to win the A-10 because of defense like that play. 3 guys around the basketball as 2 tried to split the double team.
Straightaway Randall. That's off the mark. And Holloway runs down the loose ball after it was tapped by McLean. To Holloway. Has been somewhat impactful, but way more impactful than Ramon Moore. Freeze inside. Fouled by Eric.
Ramon Moore just has not been able to get open. No clean looks in this game. 2 only has 5 points, but we've seen him at 22 points in the second half after not scoring in their last game.
Robinson back on for Feeney as Michael Eric picked up his second foul. Each team now with 16 fouls here in the first half. So we'll shoot free throws both ways for the last 3 minutes plus.
Michael Eric so far in this game doing a really good job with Freeze down in the box, not allowing him to get quick duck-ins.
Strong drive again by Mark Lyons. 14 in the first half for Lyons.
He's made some high degree of difficulty shots through the lane.
Fernandez shovels one underneath, and Relier Jefferson gets it to go. Keeps it at a 2-point game.
Fernandez has terrific vision.
Holloway resets with 13 to shoot. Down to 10 on the shot clock. Holloway with 6 to shoot and a foul call. Boy, what a bailout call against Temple as Aaron Brown picks up the personal. Holloway will shoot 1-on-1, and ESPN's the home court of college hoops. Action continues tonight. That duel in the SEC East. Brandon Knight, Terrence Jones, and number 12 Kentucky will take on South Carolina. College basketball on ESPN tonight at 6 Eastern. That game also available online at ESPN3.com. And on your phone, Carolina has won 3 of the last 4 meetings between these two schools, including beating Kentucky last year on their home floor when they were number 1.
Terrence Jones, one of the most difficult guards in all of the league, all of the country, because his ability to be able to shoot it from the outside at 6'8", 6'9", real physical down in the post, and he has a terrific handle, and left-handed ball players always have an advantage.
Speaking of tough guards, to Holloway. Draws that foul. He's 3rd best in the Atlantic 10 at 85% from the free throw line. So you put him on the line, it's basically an automatic 2. And the lead back up to 4. Jefferson left alone. Offensive rebound by Michael Eric. Can't finish inside again and lost it out of bounds.
Bob, the reason he's not finishing around the rim is he's not catching, gathering, getting his balance, and going up strong. He's just catching it stiff-legged, straight in the air, and you're off balance that way, trying to just flip it up off and in, and it's not working for him so far in this game.
And Michael Eric is 0 for 5 from the field, and I don't think he's attempted a field goal from more than about 5 feet away from the basket.
The one that he did get from 8 to 10 in the corner over there was an air ball.
Offensive foul called, an illegal screen set by Jamel McLean. That's his second.
Yeah, you're setting that screen. You have to make sure that you are absolutely still. And you can see him kind of leaning into that pick there. That's a good call by the ref. A player can get injured that way. That's how you get those deep thigh bruises and contusions with plays like that.
So Chris Mack took his team to a 26-9 season last year, and a second consecutive Sweet 16. Has to put McLean on the bench with 2 fouls, under a minute and a half to go here in the first half. Fernandez lost his footing, ends up finding Wyatt. Fernandez tries a 3. Gets the soft bounce. The junior from Argentina. His second 3 here in the first half, and a timeout called by Chris Mack. Juan Fernandez with a couple of 3s, but the star on the other side has been Mark Lyons for Xavier.
Mark Lyons has been terrific. 5 of 7 for the floor. He's a guy that averages 12 points per game, but he's shown an ability to be able to finish in transition. Off pick and roll action, they've been able to find him out on the floor. But the difference for him in this basketball game is he's been really aggressive offensively, and has paid huge dividends for Mark Lyons.
But what Chris Mack said about him was interesting, that he might be the most explosive kid he's ever coached, which is saying something. Xavier, they've had some athletes, but he said there are times when his body gets ahead of his brain because he's so explosive that he actually can't quite keep up with his own explosiveness, and he will get out of control at times. They have to rein him back in a little bit.
But they love his tenacity and his willingness to attack out there on the floor. He's also their best on-ball defender. The 1-2-2 zone here by Temple is actually a 3-2 that drops back to a 2-3.
You'll always bust the zone with a 3. That's what Jeff Robinson does. About an 8-second differential between shot clock and game clock as we're down to the last 38 seconds of the first half.
Jeff Robinson now 2 for 3 from the three-point line in A10.
Moore in the post, and a foul call. That'll put Ramon Moore at the free throw line as he will try and score for the first time here in the first half.
75% free throw shooter in the Atlantic 10. What I like about that play, Bob, he got the basketball down there, and usually if you're the leading scorer and you haven't gotten your shots, you try to get one up there quickly, but I like his poise and patience with the basketball on that play.
1-1 for Moore. And the leading scorer for Temple finally hits the stat sheet. That's his first point. Although if you're Frna Dunphy, I guess the glass is half full. You're in a one-possession game, approaching halftime. A place that very rarely are teams even competitive, much less having a chance to win against Xavier. And your leading scorer only has 2 points.
They've gotten terrific bench support so far in this basketball game. 25 points if my accounting here is correct off the bench.
Holloway lost the dribble. Down to 2 seconds. Has to launch a 3. DeLeo got a piece. So with Ramon Moore only scoring 2 points in the first half, it's a 2-point game at halftime. The big reason why for Temple, Scootie Randall. He had 17 in the first half for the Owls, and he basically shot Temple right back in it when they were down 8 midway through the first half. So our score at halftime, 41-39. Xavier has the lead over Temple. Let's go back to the studio. It's time for the halftime report, and we check in with Steve Bunin. Steve?
Thank you, guys. So the 2 perennial A10 powers, a 2-point game at the half. Steve Bunin here with Jay Williams, and we had a good battle in the Big Ten.
Welcome back to ESPN College Basketball, presented by 5 Hour Energy. Just about set for the start of the second half here at the Cintas Center in Cincinnati. A good first half between Temple and Xavier. A 2-point game at the break. The most points this season that Temple has given up in the first half against any opponent. 41 by the Muskies, but the Owls are only down by 2, 41-39. Bob Wischusen? And former Notre Dame great LaFonso Ellis here with you. Down 2 for Temple, in spite of the fact that Ramon Moore was invisible. Hit a couple of free throws before halftime. Those were his only 2 points. He's their leading scorer. Frna Dunphy has found answers elsewhere, though.
When your leading scorer goes down, you have to have someone who's willing to step up. Scootie has done that this afternoon with tremendous scoring from the outside. Coach Dunphy said yesterday, in order for them to win, he had to be at his best defensively. But little did he know that Scootie was going to be at his best offensively today, scoring it in a variety of ways, knocking down shots from the outside. He's 40% in the A-10 from the three-point line, and he was finding it and filling it in the first half.
Would have been fun to be a fly on the wall, that Temple locker room, to hear what Frna Dunphy told his team at halftime. They went shirts and skins yesterday and have been doing that for quite a while. As Ramon Moore gets his first field goal to start off the second half. He wanted to go old school, get back to the roots a little bit. And just after, I guess, trying to change the mentality of his team somewhat, they come out and give up 41 on the road in the first half to Xavier.
He felt after that Duquesne game that there was a sense of entitlement, and so he wanted to go shirts and skins to go back to the old days. Actually had them washing their uniforms as well.
Shot clock down to 10. Deep position by Freeze. Too strong. And a foul call that'll go against LaVoy Allen. As we take a look at some of our first half statistics, it was a duel between Randall and Lyons.
Mark Lyons, I thought, was exceptional. Obviously, they went into halftime with a 2-point lead, and it was really primarily with his shooting from the outside. He was also 2 for 3 from the three-point line with 14 points in the first half.
Plus the foul inside for Jamel McLean. Another foul called on LaVoy Allen. That'll be his 4th. Well, now Frna Dunphy's going to have to take his #1 power forward out of the game.
Well, LaVoy Allen did a terrific job of playing good position defense, and then once Jamel McLean lost the basketball, regained it, decided to swing down. That's always an indication to the official that that's a foul. Should have just maintained his position and then walled up, because they need him out there on the floor, especially with his rebounding on the defensive board.
4 fouls on LaVoy Allen. And it was funny talking yesterday with Frna Dunphy about going shirts and skins. We said, you know, where'd that come from? Because there were no fancy Temple uniforms. There were no warm-ups out there. When these guys looked like they were coming to the Y to play open gym. It was whatever they found in the bottom of the closet. He said, we're on the way back from getting beat by Duquesne. We're on the bus. The players wanted to watch a movie. So we're not watching a movie after that, unless you can find something educational. So they put on the ESPN documentary Black Magic. And he said he's watching Big House Gaines and Earl the Pearl Monroe play shirts and skins. So, you know, we need to get back to our roots a little bit. If it's good enough for them, if Earl the Pearl Monroe can play shirts and skins, then Temple basketball can play shirts and skins. And we're not going to have the managers washing their warm-ups. We're going to have these guys do their own work and see if it gets them back to a little bit more of a grinder's mentality.
I know as a player, I'd like those creature comforts. So if Coach Dunphy would have done that on my team, I'd have been battling trying to get those warm-ups back and get the managers washing the uniforms.
I think he was banking on that.
Temple doesn't run anything complicated offensively. They just do a terrific job of reading inside of that motion offense.
Randall with 7 to shoot. Fadeaway 3. Air ball. Eric runs it down in the corner, but stepped on the baseline.
Scootie Randall had no idea how much time was on the shot clock. He was listening to the count of the students, and, you know, they'll deceive you every time.
Xavier's won 4 in a row to start off the A-10 schedule. They're tied for first in the conference with Duquesne. And working 1 game back Temple. They lost their last A-10 game to Duquesne.
How about the start that Duquesne's gotten off to? It's the first time in conference history for them that they've gotten off to a 4-0 start.
A bump on Jamel McLean as he picks up his 3rd as we take a look at the updated standings. Now, Richmond already won earlier on today. So URI, UMass, and George Washington all dropping out of what at one point when we began the day today was a 5-way tie at 3-1. Duquesne also getting another win. So As the Dukes beat Charlotte, they stretch their lead. Roll into the basket, throwing it down is Michael Eric.
Terrific pick and roll offense.
McLean muscles it up. Eric throws it back out. Holloway a pull-up. He's got it.
To Holloway, just when you think you got him under wraps, he's a guy who can go off, score buckets and bunches. Had 22 points in the second half against St. Bonnie's.
Fernandez comes up short for three, and McLean goes right over the top of his teammate Mark Lyons to grab that rebound.
Tell you, they've kept Kenny Freeze pretty quiet on his duck-ins. He hasn't been able to get anything going offensively.
Holloway's drive, he did draw the foul. It was pinned against the backboard by Eric, so the Muskie bench looking for goaltending in a possible three-point play.
Actually, Bob, I thought he caught it before it began its descent.
That's his first personal foul, team's third.
Moore called for the foul, his first.
On the line for the Musketeers, shooting 52.
So Holloway goes to the free throw line. 16 games in double figures this year. 10 times he's been over 20. According to Chris Mack, no one in their program works harder in the summer to get ready for the season than Holloway. They actually have to chase him out of the gym. As we take another look, and I think you're right. I think he got him on the way up.
Yeah, I think he caught that to the backboard. Just good call by the baseline official. Tell you what, with Holloway, he knew coming into this season that he was going to be the guy. And he was having difficult times, Bob, with balance, to know when to shoot it, when to take the game over, and when to be a distributor. He's really done that well over the last two games.
He's in double figures for the 17th time this season. Moore the other way. Knocks down a jumper, and Ramon Moore starts to heat up a bit here early on in the second half.
They usually switch that little pick and roll action. Didn't switch at that time, lack of communication.
Holloway answers at the other end, and a quick timeout called by Chris Mack. We'll step aside for just a moment. 49-45, Xavier has the lead. All right, Steve, Bob Wischusen, Alfonso Ellis watching a nip-and-tuck battle of our own in the Atlantic 10. College basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy and Chris Mack's Musketeers with a 4-point home lead over Temple. Xavier has been just about unbeatable in this building. 34 straight home conference wins, ties an all-time record, so a win today would be a new mark in the Atlantic 10, but they beat everybody here. They're 61-3 in their last 64 home games.
Really impressive. I mean, fans are really into it. The changes that they've made, I mean, just beautiful. Great atmosphere for college basketball.
Good ball movement by Temple and a lot of good recoveries by Xavier. Now Moore with 10 to shoot. Eric, turnaround jumper, way short, and Holloway lets it go.
But when you're setting those high ball screens, you have to make sure that you get on the side with your butt and chest to the sidelines. He's trying to set that with his butt to the baseline, not getting a good angle. So there's no use setting it that way because the defensive guard doesn't have to make a decision.
Unable to stuff it home underneath was Robinson. Fernandez gets his dribble back. Finds Moore in the corner. He's got it. Ramon Moore with his third made field goal here in the second half.
Terrific job by Ramon Moore relocating to an open spot. Nice find by Fernandez.
Holloway for three. Offensive putback skying through the air. The sophomore Jeff Robinson. A floater down the lane, a little too strong off the window for Fernandez. But Eric is there with the putback and a chance for a three-point play. Putbacks at each end, changing the momentum.
When you're inside of a zone, it's difficult to get box out responsibilities. Terrific read by Jeff Robinson. Terrific athlete.
Well, during halftime today, all-time Xavier great Brian Grant watched his number 33 hang from the rafters. The 4th all-time leading rebounder, 9th all-time leading scorer, and the 8th overall pick in the NBA draft in 1994. Joined by his family. Sounded very, very moved. So Brian Grant has his number retired. Now, there was a duel here at one point, if memory serves, back in the city of South Bend between LaFonso Ellis and Brian Grant. I've got a box score right here. What does this show? 87-86, Notre Dame over Xavier. 19 points, 14 rebounds for Brian Grant. That's a tremendous line, but I see 27 and 11 down here. LaFonso Ellis.
South Bend, I throw him.
Not bad.
Go in every now and then.
Wasn't there a last-second shot in that game, too, by my partner?
Yeah, I happened to flip one in. Wouldn't count it. A lot of fun. But
how about your memories going up, not only against Brian Grant in college, but also in the NBA?
Tenacious defender. Aggressive offensive rebounder. Really developed some nice moves around the basket. Fierce competitor. And he was a terrific teammate. Got the privilege to play with him for Pat Riley and the Miami Heat. And as great of a competitor as he was, even more terrific guy off the floor.
Michael Eric couldn't finish the three-point play, so it's still a 2-point game. 5 minutes gone by here in the second half.
Xavier's gotten some really good looks as of that last time out. 54% from the floor on the game.
The uniform Xavier's wearing, by the way, today, a bit of a throwback as well in honor of Brian Grant. These were the colors in the uniforms that Xavier wore his senior year.
My memory serves me correctly, it's the ones they had when we played against each other. Started to get a little lather over here.
All of a sudden, Michael Eric's hit his last 2. That time with more authority to finish underneath, and we're tied for the 6th time.
The results are so much better, Bob, when he can gather himself and get his balance and go up strong underneath.
Holloway bumped by Moore. Second foul on Ramon Moore. As we take a look back at the career of Brian Grant, the 8th overall pick in the 1994 NBA draft. Went on to have about a decade-long career in the NBA. 1,700-point scorer here at Xavier.
How about Vlade Divac, Brian Grant, Chris Webber, all on the same team for Sacramento Kings?
Holloway hit the underside of the rim. So a chance for Temple to take the lead. Randall underneath, great position by Reliever Jefferson, and he'll have a chance at the free throw line after being fouled by Holloway to put Temple on top.
That's again created by Juan Fernandez's ability to be able to see the floor. Reliever recognizing that he had a smaller player on him in Holloway. Just a nice duck in to get in front, going up strong, getting fouled.
Well, Temple at 13-4 with wins this year over Seton Hall, Georgia, Maryland, Georgetown. They killed Penn the other night. This is a team that was ranked until the Duquesne loss last week, ranked in 16 consecutive top 25 polls. They fell out of the top 25, but if there's a team in the A-10 that has the ability to come on the road and win where very few have won, this is probably the group, but Jefferson can't get the free throws to go.
They're so sound defensively, but they're also playing a very game Xavier team who hasn't lost a lot on this home floor, and Xavier's pretty good offensively. Xavier's the #1 scoring offense in the Atlantic 10.
And they add to it. Mark Lyons has 17. That's his 3rd 3. Moore, step back 2, way short. Michael Eric, great catch. A putback, though, comes up short. Holloway goes right at Fernandez, and the foul will be called on Juan Fernandez. Second foul on Fernandez.
Holloway does such a good job of reading the screen, and you have to pay attention on the strong side baseline. Fell asleep over in the corner and allowed Lyons to get open for that three-point shot.
So Frna Dunphy calls timeout. ESPN's the home court of college hoops. Two top 25 teams hook up. A big one in the Big Ten. ESPN Saturday primetime has number 13 Purdue hosting number 18 Michigan State. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV on ESPN at 9 Eastern tonight. Coverage begins with College Game Day, driven by State Farm at 8 Eastern. This game also available online at ESPN3.com. And on your phone, what a season Jawan Johnson has had. He has had Big Ten Player of the Year type performances this year.
Well, the ability to throw it on the inside when E'Twaun Moore hasn't scored the basketball very well over the last 6 games, and coming up with big shot after big shot. He's the difference for them inside because he's really stepped up his defensive presence, and he's an intimidator inside on the boards and as a shot blocker.
Now Purdue, they've got Michigan State tonight, will have their game on Tuesday night against number 1 Ohio State. Went on the road today and beat Illinois in Champaign. Purdue and Ohio State, the two best teams in the Big Ten. Do you see someone else challenging?
I'd say there's no question that they're the two best teams because of their great balance and how good they are defensively.
Quick bucket by McLean after the timeout. Stretches the Xavier lead back up to 5.
Xavier's so balanced offensively. They have 3 guys in double figures already in scoring in this half.
Wyatt floats one underneath and it hit the backboard. Looking for the lob to Jefferson.
Wyatt ducked in underneath the backboard. Tough angle to make that pass.
McLean wants it in the post on Eric. Kick out for the 3 by Jackson. Dante Jackson hits the triple. Timeout Temple.
Thought that was pretty good low post defense by Michael Eric, getting them pinned underneath the basket, yet the vision to be able to find Dante Jackson on the weak side for the 3. Only 29% from the three-point line for Dante Jackson in 8-10 play, but he got his feet set in rhythm, knocks it down.
Well, Jackson only shooting 29% from 3 this year, but career he's a 40% three-point shooter, so he's a better shooter than this year's numbers would suggest. Those numbers, though, hard to argue for Xavier here at home at the Cintas Center. They are riding a 34-game 8-10 home win streak, all-time 143-18, and 72-10 in total in this building in conference.
When you throw in the fact that they're the #1 offensive production team in the Atlantic 10, and they can go down and defend you with good presence with bigs on the inside like Freeze and McLean. They have terrific balance on both ends of the floor.
Wyatt splits the defense. The tip follow won't go by Jefferson. Here comes Jackson. Hounded in the backcourt by Wyatt and calls timeout. Jackson was looking for a foul call. Kevin Ferguson, the official, I think did well to swallow the whistle. It looked like Khalif Wyatt was playing pretty good backcourt defense.
He did a terrific job of reaching inside, getting a hand on that basketball, putting Dante in a position where he couldn't quite get a good handle on it. But you got to give him credit for being able to fall down on the floor and maintain that possession. For most people, that's a turnover.
That was clean, though, by Khalif Wyatt as he poked the ball into the backcourt. This 8-point lead for Xavier, by the way, matches their largest lead. It was 16-8 back in the first half. And when it was 16-8, Temple immediately went on an 8-0 run and got the game tied at 16. So if you're Frna Dunphy, where do you think you're trying to go to get the answer now?
They have to continue to get stops. They've done a really good job on Freeze on the inside. McLean in this second half as well. So they're going to have to make sure that they can get to open shooters. But offensively, you have to figure out a way how to get your leading scorer, Ramon Moore, into the basketball game and look for them to try to do it with some pick and roll action.
Kenny Freeze back on, replacing Jamel McLean for Xavier.
2-3 zone here by Temple.
Freeze finds Taylor, and Taylor gets it to go. Largest lead for Xavier, up to double figures.
And see, this is why LaVoy Allen's being in foul trouble really hurts them, because they could use his inside presence offensively.
The third time in the game that a Temple guard has been called for carrying the basketball. Frna Dunphy's team turns it over. They are fired up here at the Cintas Center, as is Dante Jackson.
State taking on Creighton. It's the Bears and the Blue Jays. Weems is the second leading scorer in the Missouri Valley Conference. That's coming up next. Bob LaFonso, back to you.
All right, Steve, thanks very much. Just to let Jay Williams know, he might be feeling a little antsy with Duke struggling right now, but it's no better here. You got a BC guy working with a Notre Dame guy. So for anyone looking from an ESPN standpoint to create team chemistry, this was the wrong pairing. 61.
Keep my distance sometimes.
You're not trying hard enough. 10-point lead for Xavier, as Temple right now looking for some answers. Lyons goes backdoor, and he is met. The rejection underneath. Moore went up and gave help. Michael Eric right on the doorstep to throw that one back.
What a reaction by Michael Eric.
And then Khalif Wyatt, who can heat up in a hurry, connects from the baseline. Lyons for three. That's off the mark. Taylor an offensive rebound and the left-handed putback.
Andrew Taylor at 6'8", found 6'4". Ramon Moore underneath the basket, pinned him under. Nice reaction to come up with that offensive rebound.
Scootie Randall gets the shooter's touch.
How nice is his stroke?
Freeze the other way. Again, a big man for Xavier, though. Beats Temple down the floor. We saw McLean do it at least 3 times in the first half, and Kenny Freeze does it there.
You still have to communicate that in transition. Scootie Randall was back and should have taken him. It would have prevented that layup.
Moore from the baseline. He's bumped on the elbow. So Ramon Moore will go to the free throw line. Well, a moment ago, Michael Eric played some defense.
He really did. I mean, the ability to patrol the lane. Nice little cut and find. Denied at the corner of the backboard. And that's what he brings to the game. The ability to be a game changer defensively with his length and shot blocking ability.
Problem, though, for Temple is they have not had enough of that defense today. You can see they average allowing 59 points a game and 39% shooting. Both of those numbers defensively are #1 in the Atlantic 10. Xavier today against Temple already has 65 points on the board. They're shooting 53%. So they already have 6 more points with 9:06 to go than Temple usually allows per game.
And they've done it with being able to get out in transition with turnovers and quick shots, but also in that half-court game on dribble penetration, they've been finding people wide open and they've been converting.
DJ DeLeo comes back on. DeLeo replaces Khalif Wyatt.
So important to be able to guard your own guy.
Touch foul out on the perimeter on DeLeo.
Adds his first personal foul, 16 fouls.
16 fouls now on Temple. So Temple is now out of fouls to give. 14 fouls on Xavier. And McLean catches it deep. And it's rejected inside again by Eric. Randall in transition. He throws it down.
Randall showing us everything today.
Holloway didn't get the call. Numbers for Temple. Moore to the trailer. Scootie Randall. 4 quick ones for Temple, and it's a 4-point game.
Excellent transition offense. Ramon Moore taking it till he couldn't take it anymore, forcing the defender to have to make a decision, and a nice low find.
Kenny Freeze with the left hand. A little too strong. Michael Eric. Strong rebound and a foul call. That'll go against Jamel McLean. 4 fouls on McLean.
It's always beneficial when you have someone inside who can patrol the lane, defense creating offense. Temple showing the ability to finish in transition. Thought that was a nice move by Coach Chris Mack, taking Jamel McLean out of the basketball game. He was very close to getting a technical foul after chewing out the referee for what he thought was a poor call.
Juan Fernandez has come back on for DeLeo. Moore. A find underneath to Randall. Back outside Wyatt. That's off the mark. And that time Michael Eric reached over the top of Kenny Freeze. He's called for the foul, and that'll be team foul number 7 on Temple. So Kenny Freeze shoots free throws in a 4-point game when we come back to Cincinnati.
This is handing it to Texas. A balanced effort. Terrell Reed's got 9 points so far. Jayhawks throttling the Longhorns 31-19. Doug McDermott, the leading scorer for his dad, the coach at Creighton. It's Blue Jays and Bears of Missouri State coming up on ESPN2 as soon as 8:10 Hoops is done.
All right, thanks a lot. Bob Shoes and LaFonso Ellis back here in Cincinnati. There are 3 undefeated teams remaining in college basketball. Ohio State will put that undefeated mark on the line when they take on Purdue on Tuesday night. Kansas right now comfortably in front of Texas. And how about the matchup Wednesday night? San Diego State taking on Jimmer Fredette.
Kawhi Leonard is an excellent forward, 6'8", 6'9", can run the floor, shown the ability to step out and shoot it with decent range, but he is an absolute monster, very Brian Grant-like on the defensive board for San Diego State.
Kenny Freeze to shoot 1-and-1. Freeze a 67% free throw shooter. He has made a big improvement from his freshman and sophomore year. He was a 5-point-per-game scorer through his first 2 years, playing behind Jason Love here at Xavier. And now he has upped that to about 12 points a game, 7 rebounds a game, as he has become the regular starting center.
But for him, really worked hard this summer. He was around 300 pounds, now around 269. Shedded some body fat, some weight. Now he's moving up and down the floor a lot more fluidly, having lost the weight.
Only 1 of 2 at the line, so it's a 5-point game. Randall for 3. He's got another 26 points in the game for Scootie Randall. That's his 5th 3.
His ability to read and relocate allows Scootie Randall to be able to get those wide open shots, and he's been knocking them down this afternoon.
Freeze in the post again. They're letting him go one-on-one with Eric. And that time he tried a finesse shot. And Michael Eric pulls down the rebound.
His best shot is actually the hook shot over his left shoulder. I'd like to see him back down, maybe give a little fake to the baseline and get back to the middle where his strength is. Freeze.
Eric Spins baseline, too strong. The tap follow won't go. It ends up with Ramon Moore. Squeezes one through to Jefferson. He draws the foul. So earlier, Jefferson will go to the free throw line, and ESPN, the home court of college hoops. Action continues tonight. It's a duel in the SEC East. 12th ranked Kentucky taking on upset-minded South Carolina. College basketball on ESPN a little bit later on at 6 p.m. Eastern. This game also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone.
Guy on that team who I feel has been an unsung hero has been DeAndre Liggins. Really has given up his offense to the rest of his players, but he's the best defender, on-ball defender on that Kentucky Wildcat team. Been doing an excellent job.
A pair at the line for Jefferson, and what was once a 10-point lead now has been gotten all the way back to even, and Temple creates the backcourt turnover. D'Elia with some pressure and a heads-up job to throw it off of Jeff Robinson.
I mean, the ability and awareness to keep that basketball inbounds and recognizing throwing it off of a Xavier player to get a possession here for Temple. That's huge.
Moore with an air ball from three.
Xavier's defense has not allowed Ramon Moore to get in any rhythm offensively this afternoon.
Holloway on the drive. And Xavier, just like that, they've got the lead back. Fernandez resets with 10 on the shot clock. Fernandez knifes through the defense. The little flip won't go. Eric tries to keep it alive. It taps around right to Hernandez. Cross-court pass. Knocking down the three is Khalif Wyatt, and Temple's got the lead. Great find by Juan Fernandez.
The vision, I've been so impressed with his vision and his awareness of where his teammates are on the floor. Much better job by Michael Eric on that pick and roll action.
McLean comes up short, gets his own miss. The putback is good. Xavier takes the lead back with 5 minutes to go.
He has one of the quickest reactions in the country going back after his shots on offensive rebounds.
Juan Fernandez draws the foul. Dante Jackson was hanging all over him out at midcourt.
McLean on the move there. We talked about earlier about just his quickness off the floor, getting extra possessions for his teammates.
So Juan Fernandez will go to the free throw line to shoot 1-and-1. That was team foul number 7 on Xavier. And Fernandez, he had multiple offers to play professional basketball in Spain, but he spoke with Pepe Sanchez. And Pepe Sanchez says, I think you can go play college and have a great experience at Temple, so he followed that advice. That's why he's in Philadelphia, but he was not able to hit the front end of the 1-and-1, and then a foul away from the ball called against the Owls. That'll be on Scootie Randall, his first.
That's his first personal foul, 8th team foul for the Owls.
Team foul number 8. So Andrew Taylor will shoot 1-and-1 as Kenny Freese comes back on.
When you're in a situation and the opposing team's in the bonus, you have to make sure that you don't give away easy possessions. They've been doing a terrific job defensively in their half court, has Temple. You don't want to give them those easy ones.
And for the first time since we've probably had about 90 seconds to 2 minutes gone by in the second half, Lavoy Allen is back in the game. So he probably got in the neighborhood of 14 minutes on the bench after picking up foul number 4. Frna Dunphy brings him back now with 4:43 to go.
So you credit Michael Eric, did a terrific job in his absence of patrolling the lane. A couple key shot blocks that led to transition offense.
Xavier trying to protect a 34-game Atlantic 10 home win streak. And they've got a 2-point lead with 4:40 to go.
The question right now, will Lavoy Allen give them the same kind of energy and effort that Michael Eric did in patrolling the lane and rebounding?
From the wing. That's off the mark by Randall. Holloway, what a crossover. And the scoop. A takeaway by Dante Jackson. Tries to do it himself and does.
The #1 offense in the A-10 against the 3rd defense in the A-10. They are bringing it this afternoon.
Wyatt for 3. Khalif Wyatt's triple. Cuts the lead in half, and it's a 1-possession game again.
How good has Khalif Wyatt been off the bench, giving this team some energy, some effort, and some explosive offense? The key to this game for Temple defensively is going to be their ability to guard pick-and-roll offense.
Nice high-low pass. Kenny Freeze fouled on the floor. Quick whistle by Brett Hampton, and we'll step aside. Holloway putting on a show.
Holloway, the ability to change speeds and direction. Everyone befuddled in transition, and the finish. Xavier's back in it.
Well, Dave, we still have 3 minutes and 25 seconds left here in Cincinnati. College basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy. Bob Wischusen and LaFonso Ellis watching Xavier try to hold on to what would be a new conference record for most straight home wins in the Atlantic 10. 34 in a row has already tied the record for Xavier. And they're looking for home win number 35 straight. It would be a record-breaking win if they got it. And Kenny Freeze deadens it against the backboard and gets the roll. By the way, the record that they tied was Temple's home win record.
How about Kenny Freeze at 71% from the free throw line? A lot of bigs don't shoot the free throws very well, but their ability to rebound inside and be able to make free throws down the stretch when your team needs them.
He makes a pair, and it's a 5-point game. Tough shot by Wyatt. Gets the bounce. Khalif Wyatt's up to 18.
He plays with such a great poise and patience, even with 2 or 3 defenders around him, always calm, as you can see on that shot there.
Khalif Wyatt now called for the touch foul out on the perimeter on Mark Lyons. That'll put Lyons at the free throw line to shoot the double bonus. Team foul number 10. That's the 3rd foul as well on Khalif Wyatt.
Never had good defensive position opening up the baseline. Had his chest parallel to the sideline, and that's what opens up the drive to the baseline.
McLean back on with his 4 fouls.
Mark Lyons has been sensational this afternoon with his scoring. Big buckets in the first half.
Arguably the 2 best programs in the conference going head-to-head with 2:45 to go. Lavoy Allen. Good defense by McLean. Wyatt, a hand check called on Dante Jackson. Khalif Wyatt will shoot 1 and 1.
Xavier foul number 25 is Dante Jackson. That's his 4th personal foul.
Dante Jackson actually had pretty good defensive position, and that's what you want to do, is not allow the basketball to go to the weak side. You want to force it back to the strong side. He had help on that side, and so again, another foul that you don't want to give up in a situation like this, especially when you're as good defensively as Xavier is.
That's the 4th foul as well on Dante Jackson. So now Jackson and McLean both have 4. Wyatt's an 81% free throw shooter. Last year as a freshman, he played in 10 games, but barely made an impact. This year he's averaging about 8 points a game, but he had 27 in the win over Penn. 1 of 2 at the free throw line here. Almost got the steal. And Wyatt's up to 19 this afternoon.
And he's terrific scoring and can be explosive offensively, but the reason he's getting more minutes now is because he's playing really good defense for Frna Dunphy.
It looked like Mark Lyons might have been the one to knock that ball out of bounds, too, for Xavier. X got away with one with 2.5 minutes to play.
They'll get into some ball screen action, either a high ball screen or a side ball screen to try to create some offense.
Holloway, great pump fake. High off the glass. The back tap ends up with Lyons. And with a fresh shot clock, he'll calm things down and dribble down some time. Smart play by Mark Lyons.
DeLeo almost had that one. Frowning because he knows he should have.
Holloway with the scoop, freeze, weak side. Randall, step back 2, in and out. And now if you're Temple, you have to think, I would assume, about fouling with 1:10 to go in a 6-point game.
Got to bring some pressure right now, Bob, and if you don't get it, look to foul. Go for the steal first, though.
Well, Chris Mack calls timeout to get his team organized. Coming up next here on ESPN2, college basketball presented by 5-Hour Energy continues. We'll head to the Valley. Missouri Valley Conference action as Creighton meets Missouri State. That's coming up next on college basketball presented by 5-Hour Energy here on ESPN2. From the JQH Arena in Springfield, Dave O'Brien and Dan Dockich will have the call after we're done here in Cincinnati. The possession arrow belongs to Xavier. Each team with timeouts remaining. Xavier has 1 left. Temple has 2 left. Both teams over the limit. 18 fouls on Xavier, so there's still 1 more 1-and-1 to shoot for Temple, but Xavier's in the double bonus as Temple has 10 team fouls. How quickly do you look to foul here if you're Temple?
Well, you have time. You want to go try to get a steal, but I would also try to put them on the line because time is not their friend right now. I try to go for the first steal I could get.
1 minute remaining.
You don't want to foul Holloway if you can avoid it. Down to 10 on the shot clock, so now you're not going to foul. 7 to shoot. Holloway at midcourt, and now a foul is given with 5 on the shot clock. Frna Dunphy can't believe it. His team went absolutely numb between the ears. 5 seconds on the shot clock, and then you give the foul.
When you're down the stretch that way, you have to have an awareness of time and score, clock situation. That was perfect, forcing Holloway to take a difficult, possibly a runner, with 4 seconds on the shot clock. Missed opportunity there by Temple.
Just a mistake you can't make. You foul an 85% free throw shooter with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Holloway makes a pair, and the lead's up to 7.
I'd like to see Temple maybe get into some quick ball screen action with Lavoy Allen trying to get a quick shot.
Wyatt for 3. Air ball. And now Frna Dunphy wants a timeout.
Really a smart move there by Chris Mack. Instead of falling back into a man-to-man as they played all game, they went to a 1-2-2 zone. Temple hadn't seen that, threw them off, and forced them into a quick shot.
So only one timeout remaining for each team. Sue Holloway has had a very good night for Xavier. He's at 17, but his backcourt mate Mark Lyons has chipped in with 19 as well. Those two have controlled the tempo of this game, it seems.
They really have. I mean, with great poise, good shot selection. You know, they can get a little wild and loose with the basketball at times. Not so this afternoon. Impressive showing by that pair.
The officials went over to the replay monitor just to see if there was a timing error, as they're taking a look at the last possession just to make sure that the clock stopped when it should have. It certainly seems that the clock started at the appropriate time there. And the game clock still reads 36 seconds, so they have confirmed the clock is accurate, and now Temple has to look for a backcourt steal or a foul.
Can't allow anything long in this situation.
They can't get the foul on Freeze. And now Holloway dribbles down time. Lavoy Allen has to give the foul now. And finally, it's Khalif Wyatt that fouls Holloway. It looks as if Xavier is going to match Duquesne at 5-0 in the Atlantic 10. And Temple will fall to 3-2, back into a logjam in fourth place. Richmond already winning earlier on today, so they'll be solo second after we're done here between Xavier and Temple.
I mean, the #1 scoring offense in the A-10, really impressive today. 55% from the field in the first half, and before that last timeout, they were 8 for 13 from the three-point line as well. So very efficient offensively.
Hernandez with a floater. That's too strong. McLean the rebound. Tied up, but a foul called with 21 seconds to go. And at the Cintas Center, they'll start to celebrate. And it's a home game for Xavier next, coming up on Wednesday against GW. And then 4 out of their next 5 are on the road, including an out-of-conference matchup with Georgia.
Very tough schedule ahead, especially on the road throughout all of the conferences in the country. Very difficult to get a road win. But if they want to get to the level that they're hoping to, they're going to have to go out with the same defensive intensity. And I've been so impressed with their ability to beat off the bounce and then find shooters on the perimeter, which is why the guards have been so good today.
Again, Dave O'Brien and Dan Dockich are standing by. In the Missouri Valley Conference coming up next, it's Creighton and Missouri State. Just about set to get underway. Now some curtain calls to Holloway, Kenny Freeze, and Dante Jackson as well. And Jamel McLean gets a handshake from his coach.
Strong game for him today, 14-7.
Wyatt from the corner, air ball. Randall the put back inside, plus the foul.
And that basket number 33, Scootie Randall.
Well, a final score that's not really going to be indicative of how close this game was for long stretches. A couple of times, down 8 in the first half, down 10 in the second half. Temple fought back to tie the game, but they could never then get over the top.
A couple of missed opportunities offensively, missing some bunnies and a couple turnovers. A couple fouls down the stretch hurt them as well.
And now the walk-on Kevin Feeney's going to get a chance to shoot a couple of free throws. Get that little wry smile from the walk-on as he hits the stat sheet.
Obviously, the story, Bob, has been Temple only gives up 59 points a game, and they've given up 88 in this one.
That three won't go for Aaron Brown, and that'll do it. Very impressive home performance by Xavier, and it's a new conference consecutive win record in the Atlantic 10. 35 in a row at home against conference competition for Xavier. 88-77 is your final. A big day for Mark Lyons and a big day for the Musketeers. Coming up next, more college basketball. It's Missouri State and Creighton. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For